When I was in the Army, I was assigned to 1st Platoon. 1st Platoon of an infantry regiment, Able Company. I spent most of my time with them, with little of it being spent with the other medics. What I discovered while I was with them was that I would see a lot more than your typical soldier would expect to see in a training environment. The story really is that of this man, Sergeant Dietch, and this Private Reynolds. The story between these two men has haunted me ever since I've experienced it. Dietch had deployed several times and was airborne infantry. It wasn't uncommon for him to lose his cool and torture his platoon, or even a single soldier at any time. Unfortunately for Reynolds, he was his favorite to torture. It started with push-ups, but it got much worse. Sometimes he'd make Reynolds crawl like a baby, and as he did this, Dietch would constantly make the sounds of a baby, wah, wah, or anything like that. Poor Reynolds was getting weaker with each minute of it. Most infantrymen smoke cigarettes, but Reynolds smoked nearly 2 packs a day of Marlboro Reds. It was the only thing keeping him together. As the medic, I quickly noticed that this was not normal. It was normal for the infantrymen to be treated rather harshly, but it wasn't normal for a single one to be singled out for this long. It had become a cruel form of hazing. Before long came Wimpy, and while this is a poor representation of what it was, I can tell you exactly what he was dealing with. It was a piece of 550 cord, or paracord, whatever you'd like to call it, and at the end of it was a chem light, something like a glow stick for people who don't know what those are. The glow stick's name was Wimpy, and he wore it on this leash everywhere he went. The humiliation was constant, but whenever another platoon would come around, they'd force him to hide it because they knew this was wrong. I don't know when Wimpy went away. I can only tell you that he was around for nearly 2 weeks. At this point, I had had enough and decided to report it to my higher leadership. "It's the infantry, Doc. You gotta grow up at some point." This was the answer that I heard. Unfortunately, just attempting to mention the hazing that was going on increased it for Reynolds.